And now to the project decades in the making. $6 billion Gordie Howe Bridge connecting Michigan and Ontario, Canada is officially open to traffic. The Gordie Howe International Bridge has a total of 6 lanes. And depending on traffic, officials have the ability to convert the direction of the lanes. There's a toll of $5.75 to cross. Under the latest agreement between the U.S. and Canada, Canada will split half the toll revenue with an economic development fund under U.S. control for the next 15 years. Bridge has a free multi-use pedestrian and bike path that will open to the public August 5th next week. Opening coming a week after President Trump announced fresh tariffs on Canadian goods. The president says Canadian officials disinvited him to a ceremony celebrating the project's completion.